Hi everyone and welcome back to Heimler's History Economics Edition. So many economists agree that the single most important issue in all of macroeconomics is how to achieve long-run economic growth. And in this video, I'm finna teach you all about it. Let's get to it. Alright, no frills. Let's just jump right in. When economists want to measure economic growth, the most useful tool they have in their toolbox is to measure real GDP per capita. Now, let me explain that. If you've been watching these videos for any time at all, you know that real GDP measures a nation's output adjusted for inflation. And that little Latin phrase, per capita, just means by the head. So real GDP per capita just means the measurement of GDP by the head, or by each person. And the general rule is that real GDP and income are proportionally related. And what that means is that in general, if there's a 1% increase in real GDP per capita, there will also be a 1% increase in an average family's income. Now, when we talk about long-run economic growth, we're talking about a gradual process. And in that gradual process, real GDP per capita grows at most a couple percentage points per year. So here in the United States, from 1908 to 2008, real GDP per capita grew about 1.9% per year. And when economists talk about the growth rate of real GDP over time, they talk about the rule of 70. And basically, this just means that if real GDP grows 1% per year, it will take 70 years to double. If real GDP grows at 2% per year, it will take 35 years to double, and so on and so forth. So now that you know how economists measure real GDP per capita over the long run, it shouldn't surprise you that not all countries grow at the same rate. Some grow much faster, like the United States and China, and some grow much slower, like Argentina or Zimbabwe. And the question is, what factor determines whether a country grows fast or slow in terms of real GDP per capita? And the answer is pretty simple. Productivity. In economic terms, productivity just indicates how much output each worker in an economy can generate. That is, how productive is each worker. And what we can see from the data from all over the world is that countries who experience sustained growth in real GDP per capita are those countries whose worker productivity increases over time. And the measurement for real GDP per capita is actually pretty simple. It's just real GDP divided by the number of people working. And I know that it seems like it can't be that easy, but it is. So if productivity is so important to long-term sustained economic growth, then let's look at the factors that lead to increased productivity, and there are three. First, increasing physical capital. Physical capital just refers to the manufactured goods which workers use to produce other goods and services. Both a shovel and a backhoe would be considered physical capital, but a country whose workers have shovels will be far less productive than those with backhoes. Second, human capital. Human capital is the improvement not of the tools, but of the workers themselves through education and training. Now, our modern economy requires a much higher level of education than did the economies of the Middle Ages, for example. And the more educated the workforce of a particular modern country, the more productive they will be. Third, technology. And this is arguably the most important of the three. Technology refers to the technical means for producing goods and services. Now, don't confuse this with physical capital. Physical capital refers to the tools we use to make the goods and services. Technology is the means by which we create the physical capital. So, if we can create a faster microchip to stick in a robot that produces backhoes, then all other things being equal, productivity will rise. So to sum up, productivity rises, other things being equal, when a nation's workers are equipped with better physical capital, better human capital, and advancing technology. And now, understanding all of that, we can illustrate economic growth by using a couple tools that we've already learned about. And first, we're going to look at the production possibilities curve. Oh baby, it's graph time. Here's our old friend, the production possibilities curve, or frontier. Recall that the PPC illustrates the maximum combination of two goods or services that an economy can produce at its current capacity. Here we have the production of good A, and here we have the production of good B. With this country's current amount of physical capital, human capital, and technology, it has the capacity to produce anywhere on this curve. Or said another way, this curve represents this country's current productivity. But you may also recall that this curve can shift. So suppose that in this country there's an investment into the development of physical capital, which is to say better machinery and equipment, or human capital, which is to say education and training, or technology, or even all three, then the production possibilities of this nation will shift the curve outward like this. Another way to say it is that when this happens, productivity increases. Or if you wanted to, and I know you do, you could graph economic growth with the long-run aggregate supply curve. Now remember, wherever this curve intersects the x-axis, we're looking at a country's potential output, or you could say productivity. So if there's an increase in the factors of growth, physical capital, human capital, and technology, then the LRAS curve will shift to the right, indicating growth in real GDP. Or to say it another way, there will be an increase in productivity. Man, doesn't it feel good to hang out with old friends again? If by old friends you mean the kind of friends that make you want to tie a stake to your neck and jump in a pit of lions, then yes. Well, that was awfully dramatic, so I guess I'll leave it here and see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you feel like this video is more preferable than jumping into a pit of hungry lions, then hit the like button. And if you want to join our little community here at Heimler's History, then hit the subscribe button and I'll keep making videos for you. Adios.